Hello, everybody. This is Monstrositus X, and I'm coming back at you again. Alright, this is a little update about me and Mike. Sorry I've been gone for the last 3 months, but, I've, people got issues. I don't want to bore you with them, but, I've been also writing. You see, I've been drawing. This is supposed to be a cover. For Mike, I'm not sure. I keep second guessing myself whether am I doing it right? Should I have multiple characters on here? Should I just have him on here by himself? Because it's the first edition, the first issue. Um, or because it's a graphic novel, should I just go all out and try to splash the page, with a bunch of at least six of the most important characters of the book. But anyway, this is the Might that I'm working on. This is a update about the the campaign and the book and everything. Let y'all know that I'm not forgetting about anything. I'm still working on this, and to get some more work, I'm gonna be putting out more videos and doing everything to try and build my channels and get them out here. So let me cover this up so that I don't damage this. Um, this is one of the problems I've had. Now, why I'm going digital. This is all I have to scan my work with, and you can see right here. This is the line, the width of the that I can scan from here to here. Right? Can you see that here to here? Is the width is all I've got. So this is a drawing that I was doing downstairs, and on the back of these signs, when I was putting advertisements on, I took about a few hundred of these, and they were 11 by 28s, and I cut off 11 inches, so I got 11s by 11s, and these are basically around this size. This one is, I think, different, well, slightly, but this is basically what I draw on for sketching and practice and stuff like that. And I cut these into 11 by 17 so that I can do panel work and covers and stuff like that for other stuff. And it's a lot thicker than this blue line crap, which is thinner than the other stuff, which I think is 150 pounds. But anyway, this cannot scan the entire. You see the line right here. It doesn't get the whole page. So you can get even on the inside, because I know you gotta leave room. And so when you go down, you gotta scroll it down like this. You can get half, and then you go over and you get the other half. The problem is, according to the speed in which you scan, this side might be bigger or shorter than this side. So you got to put it in, and then you got to then measure it, and then try to shrink, and then after doing all of that, I've got to send this to a printer. The pages are not going to be even. They won't be 11 by 17s. So all of that headache, so of scanning these and then putting them in. I gotta get a flatbed that can handle 11 by 17. So that was one problem. That's my biggest problem. I don't have a scanner. I don't have a printer that I could, do digital and then print it out and then ink it. So that was one problem. So I got to go 100% digital until I can get my campaign going, and maybe if I can get a decent amount of contributors. If it's just going to be like 3 or 4,000, I don't think I'll be able to afford to be spending money to get. I don't know, because I'm not familiar with the whole process, so I'm not sure if I could be able to afford to spend to get a $300-400 scanner, because I seen that's what Ethan had, and then I saw another one for 200 and something that Patrick Parnell said from Riot Press said that he got from Staples, so I'm gonna have to go that way. But still, I can't afford to be spending that amount of money at one time right now. So yeah, so basically this is all I have to work with, and because of that, all I can do is bit work. So I can scan little pieces and then take it into the computer and fiddle with it and put it on 11 by 17s. So that's what I do. I design and mess around with characters while I'm doodling in front of the TV, and then when I come up here and I start working, I either go and try. This is what I was doing. I have a lot of other stuff in here. There's a lot more pages under here with panel work and stuff, but there's stuff in here that I can't show. So because there's bad guys that I'm not ready to show, and some of the fight scenes are conclusive, so I can't show those. So because I'm going for the most action and the most impact right now, because that's what I'm feeling, and we're kind of filling in the spots where I need it. Because, like I said, I'm not familiar with the process. I've never really drawn a comic book before. I've done a couple of practices and panel work when I was younger, back in the 80s, and some more in the 90s when I was drawing for my main story that I call the Stone God story. And I was focusing totally on these characters, man. That's all I would do is draw these characters over and over again. See, this is all I would do. That's the Stone God. That's the hero and his group. And there's a mentor who teaches him. This guy's not in the group, but he's gonna be in the Might series. He's gonna show up at some point. I've got all of these crazy characters. He's gonna show up at some point. Um, yeah, this is the Stone God, this first edition of him, and then I upgraded him to this guy. It's a lot meaner looking. So I had maps that I was drawing. This is Mega. I did him back in '83. Yeah, that's the next version of him I did in '85. Creatures that I was doing for the Stone God story. This is back when this is the first, and he had a helmet that's working on his throne. This is something that has to do with, because I got the idea from Fire and Ice, the Frank Frazetta. So between Fire and Ice and Lord of the Rings, the animated movie, and another anime called Warriors of the Wind, which is called Nausicaa of the Land of the Wind or something like that now. I think I have it here, but I can't get up right now to get it. And this is the mentor that helps them. This is them all together. See, yeah, so I had a lot of stuff that I was working on back then. This is, but Might is what I'm working on now. And as I told you, Might was created back in the 60s. This book right here is all of the names that's going to be in there. And I think I got something like 300 names in here. So they're going to be characters that's going to be cameos and passing through, like coming in, introducing themselves, and showing off their abilities. And then if you like those guys, in the next campaign, if they showed up in this book, the next campaign that I come out with, they will come out. I will try to do like a box, like what Ethan did, where you will be able to get the next Might story, and then those spin-off characters will have their origin stories and a little bit of, well, by that time, see, like when this book comes out, Might comes out, I'm going to have 3 characters. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to happen every time. I can't put out so many because I'm going to have to find artists and and writers to help me with these stories. So, but these are 3 stories, characters that's gonna be in Might. The first this is why I said this. The problems that I was having with creating Might, why I haven't really dropped with my campaign already, is because I had to design 12 characters that I've never drawn before. I had to redesign Might, update the look. I had to come up with all of these guys' abilities, because I picked a bunch of guys that I didn't really know. In this book, this is what I call my Bible, right? It's getting a little close to the camera. This is the book that I call my Bible. It's 3 composition notebooks tied together. See, here's 1, here's 2, and this one is stuck together. Yeah, that's 3. And I taped it up, but I like it stuck together because it keeps it uniform. But I had to see this. I had to. Let me see. I had to fix this. This is a pair of dungaree pants, not dungaree. Yeah, jeans, black jeans that I had to reattach the cover because it had fallen off. I had to restitch the binding. I put it right through the holes that the original thread was in order to fix it. And now it's sturdy. See, I got it, all 3 of them tied together here on the side, and there's the 3, all 3 of them there. I tape it all up, and in here, well over 10,000. It's got to be close to 15, but I don't count it anymore because I'm not trying to fill no more. The book is almost filled. All 3 of them. I'm down to that. I'm just squeezing in new names here and there, and then I put like envelopes with names that I'd write on them if I think that they're repeat names. But I take my names out, put them into the storybook. This is another composition notebook. I buy a bunch of these around school time. You can get them. I got like a box of them for like $5 or something like that. So there's gonna be Everman. This is the story. This is the characters with the names and how they relate, their abilities, stuff like that. This is the storybook, right? So I got a bunch of these. So and then it's gonna be Everman, Cameo, and this guy. I like his name so much. I can't tell you what his name is, but I just came up with a good origin story, and well, I already knew the names of the guys. See, what I did is when I created Mike, he's supposed to be a revolutionary story, and I didn't know whether I was going to kill him because I didn't really care about Mike. I really did. I was really considering whether I was going to kill him off. This whole revolution, and that's going to eventually come out as a what if or Elseworld type of story at some point. Not too far in the distant future, like 2-3 years from now. Because I haven't fully written that out, but I have more on that story than I have on this. Because I was writing this story for like a couple of years. But slowly, because I got like 10 other stories that I was working on at the same time. So anyway, but now I'm focusing mostly on, I guess because of that habit of working on multiple stories, that's why I've been getting multiple characters. So anyway, this guy, his origins come from a nebula. I did some research. I just looked it up on Googled it, and I asked how many nebula are in the, because I didn't have no origin story for him. I didn't know. I knew I liked him as a character. When I started, I wanted to do my best characters, right? But I was scared that introducing characters online, I could get them stolen. And then after listening to Ethan and all of them, I still wanted to bring out my stories, but I said I'm not going to bring out my best characters first. I'm going to do my secondary characters. So I basically came up with Might. Well, I didn't come up with Might. I had Might. But he was a character, like I said, I didn't really care about. So now I'm putting this effort into these characters. I'm starting to care about them, which is another problem because, like I said, I was pulling characters out. Mega's going to be in here. He's one of the characters I care about, but he's going to be a slow burn type of character. You're going to see, that's the red character that I showed you just now with the helmet, the Magneto type helmet I created back in the 80s. Uh, this guy, Mega, that's Mega. I used to call him the Mega Mutant. That's what it's called up here, Mega Mutant. No, that's Mega Blast. That's his Mega Blast. But this one I had it written here, Mega Mutant. But it's really light. I don't know if you can see it. I doubt if you can see it because it's really, really light. I did this in '83. So, and this is the last time, no, '85 when I did this one is when I didn't have the same colors, so I had to change his color. But this is the original color. I love this one. Um, so, 85 was the last time I inked. So that's what I'm trying to get. And this isn't even as good as what I need it to be. I look at the flaws, but it's better than what I do now because I'm trying to put in that cross hatching and all of that, and it's not. It's looking like this instead of like how I want it to. I'm an amateur, so that's where I'm struggling, practicing my hatching and stuff like that, trying to get really good because I want my art to have a certain appeal. I want it to look professional, and that's why I'm older. I'm in my late 50s, so I don't want to come out as a 20-year-old who's a good artist and who's coming. I have to bring some. So that's bothering me. It's bothering me a lot. I'm being a perfectionist, and I know that's hurting me. So anyway, I have to get past that. I'm working past that. And the other problem is that these secondary characters, I don't know any of them. It's not like Mega and Blackmail. Blackmail is an armor. Where is he? He's in the front of here. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you. He's in the front. Because this first book wasn't intended to be so many. I only wanted to be a couple of hundred characters, so that I'd have enough characters so I could create a small universe. But it got out of hand over the years, so I started this in '95. So I gotta cover his origin story. But this is Blackmail. This is guy he's gonna be coming through the pages of Might with a big epic story that's gonna lead into his storyline. He's gonna be chasing the bad guy, and which will get to Portsburg first. He'll come first, the bad guy, and then Blackmail will show up, and I got plans for him. Baby, do I have plans, because he's one of my favorite, and but Mega's coming first, along with a couple of others. You're gonna witness their origin stories in the pages of Might. From the opening pages, you're gonna basically starting to see the origin story of Mega. So, and I don't know if he'll ever spin off from out of the pages of Might, but these are the possibilities. I got 12 good guys in the pages of Might that's going to be working with Might. Oh, I just doxed the story. I'm going to have to cut that part out. So anyway, I'm taking secondary characters out of here, and now that I put them into the story and I have to start developing them, I thought I would just have to draw the characters, show them fighting, and then I could work on the story and get it. I know it's going to take a year, but whether I do the campaign now or a year from now, it's still going to take the same amount of time. So I figure do it now. They say I should have more pages done, more than half the book done by the time I got about 10 to 15, working on 20, because I had to redo a lot of stuff that I didn't like because the more I draw, the better I'm getting. So I went back. So that slowed me up. And then not knowing these characters the way I should in order to draw them in a story, you have to know their design. You have to know all of their abilities and what they can do for the task at hand. They're going to be a major knockdown, drag out fight in the first few pages of this. They're gonna beat. You're gonna see Vedic Tower. That's the where they. It's like the Justice League Tower, but or no, more like Teen Titans because it's on the planet, not at the space. It's in the city, and they're gonna be 12 characters in there, and at least 3 to 4 of them have to stay there at all times. Somebody has to be there to guard, just as a backup, because there's things in that building that needs guarding, right? Uh, Whether it be prisoners or what have you, until they're moved to a more secure location. They don't want to trust just that. So anyway, I don't want to get stuck in the story too long. This is more of an update. And so what I'm trying to say, those characters that I'm working on, I don't know them as well as the characters that I want to bring to y'all later on, like Mega and Blackmail. So getting to know these characters is slowing me down. I have to design all of these characters that I don't really know. I have to come up with origin stories, abilities, all of that stuff. Because I basically, a lot of them were just names that I liked. Like Rec, he's just a name. He didn't have no abilities. He didn't have anything. I figured Rec was enough. I didn't write anything down because sometimes I write in my Bible. In my Bible, I write some of the things. Some of the names I just write the name because I figured that's all you need. It's such a plain right. Wreck is just means to wreck stuff, like to destroy. So that's easy. I can just work from there. I didn't need to give an explanation to myself for what I was thinking about when I wrote the name down. I just liked the way it sounded. I knew what it meant, so I know there's not the meaning's not going to change, so there's no need to go into detail. And that's what's up with my Bible. A lot of the names in here just have the name because there's either really basic names like Rec with very straightforward, or they're complicated names, too complicated for a description yet. And I figured down the line, because I have so many of them, if I ever get to that name, that I'll flush out all everything, the meaning, because sometimes I can find the definition of some words. Or they were so vague that I didn't know, so or I just wrote a question mark next to it. So yeah, so anyway, those first 12 characters, I was basically creating from scratch. From Mike to Nightshade, um, Wreck, Warhammer, all of these guys, like Warhammer, that's one of the names. That's a blatant, straight, right in your face. He's a Warhammer, so he goes to war with a hammer. It's a plain name. You don't have to write a whole long description, but I've got his whole story. I know his origin story. See, that's what I got all of these characters. Not only that, there's another guy that's gonna be in a magical type of dude, and there's gonna be a group of magic people who help Might in this story. So all of these characters, I have to they're not going to be in the on the page. I don't have to worry. Luckily, I didn't have to worry about focusing on any of those because they're not going to be in the opening scenes that I'm going to be showing on the campaign. But all of the 12 that's going to be in there are. So I had to focus on all of them, and I didn't have to focus on their backstories, even though a lot of their stories started flooding into my brain just by thinking about them. And I had to write it down. I couldn't wait because I'm focusing on so much right now. If I waited, I'll lose it. So I had to write a lot of stuff down. And in these books, so there's going to be this character that I can't tell you his name because I think his name is so cool. and so good that it'll give it away, and I don't want other people stealing the name before I put it out there. But Cameo, nobody's gonna really. Cameo is just Cameo. What's a cameo? You know. So it's the meaning that I put to it is what the character is. So steal away. If you want to steal a character, try and steal it. Because when she comes out, she's gonna be a badass. So anyway, I know the origin story for her. I knew what I wanted to do with her. I knew that the person who created her is the ornamental, and you're gonna see that they all have the same. The creators of all three characters have the same O in their name. That wasn't intentional. I didn't gather them up and say, "Hey, this one is the Everman was created by the Observer." So and so I'm gonna put him, Cameo, who was created by the Ornamental, and this guy who was created by another character. I can't tell you, but it's a O. And yeah, so you're gonna say I did it on purpose. No, it's just that these three guys are the people that I've actually done more work on than most of the other than all of the other characters in my. These are characters that I actually my first choice characters, in other words. So these are some of the characters that I would have come out with first, like Mega and Blackmail. And so along with other characters that I don't know if I'm ever gonna get the chance to get to them. And then I started writing other stories, like just niche type character stories, like the fantasy story Stone God. That's what I was doing at first, was the Stone God story, the Twin Assassin story. I have a Twin Assassin story in the future, which is based on like Blade Runner, Soldier with Kurt Russell, um, La Femme Nikita, 24, all of that stuff is the background stuff. And so I have a lot of stuff that I want, but they're niche stories. I wanted to do a superhero story and then come to you, so I had to start writing everything fresh. I didn't want to come out with a niche story that I want to do a superhero story. And then, like, in my campaigns, I'll give y'all some of those stories for free. You know, like the Glyph. That's a niche story, and he's not. They're not gonna be in the might universe. So those stories, the Glyph, somewhere down the line, I was gonna give. I'm still gonna give, if I can, the God Tomb story that I told y'all about, if y'all remember. It's been a long time, so I'm going to be telling y'all talking. But I folded that story into the Mike story because it's such a good story. This tomb that goes around kind of giving wishes away. Not exactly, but it's not good or evil. What you do with it, it's kind of like a Twilight Zone thing, and that's what I planned on doing, was giving y'all an episode of that with each might with each might graphic novel. I would give a free of the God Tomb, a free issue of the God Tomb, 20 something pages, one hit a quitter. Uh, but each one would have to do of the different location. The God Tomb shows up and gives people with these abilities. And when you see it, because the first one was with these kids, I did a story time, and I talked about it. The whole first story, I talked about it on story time. One of the story times, I guess one of my early story times. I'm coming back to all of that. It's just that I'm working on so much stuff, and my brain feels so cramped from all of this concentration, because I never had to concentrate on a story so hard. I used to just let it come to me, like whenever I get it, the flash, I sit down and write it. I didn't sit down and write. whenever I got there, because I was taking care of my mother, taking care of my dog, and taking care of the house and the bills and everything, I didn't have time. I didn't really focus on it. I would just, when some inspiration struck me like lightning, that's when, and that's why I feel my stories are gonna be very worth the wait, and you're gonna love them. So anyway, uh, that was another problem with getting my campaign out, because I didn't design these characters, and I didn't have their abilities all straightened out. So how could I put them in a fight scene? And these are going to be 3 cameos, because somebody has to be at um, somebody has to be at the headquarters at all times to protect the place. They needed backup, and Mike has issues too. That's part. He's kind of got like survivor's remorse, because he's been around since the '60s, and he's seen a lot of war. He comes from the military, so he's seen a lot of war and people dying, and so he don't want to work with people who he thinks have more of a more prone to death, you can say. He likes working with stronger superheroes. So the guys on his team, there's certain people on his team he kind of prefers not to deal with. And Nightshade, she's the female, kind of like his second in command, and she kind of organizes and does everything. So he kind of standoffish. Like I said, I kind of want people not to like him. Kind of like me at first. I didn't really care about him. I didn't like him. Everman is a character that I liked. Cameo, because I worked about her like a few years ago, after my mother, or just before my mother died, and so I know a lot more about her. And then this guy, yeah, I created him years ago, because his name is easy to create off of, for me at least. So I don't know if anybody else, I would say the same or not, because everybody's different. So anyway, yeah, I just came up with a brilliant storyline for this guy. Uh, um, uh, has to do with nebulas, and when I had to look up nebulas, and I said, yeah, I was thinking, um, what's how many nebula are in the Milky Way, our galaxy? And so I googled nebula, how many nebula are in the Milky Way, and they said 3,000. So I said, yeah, that's perfect. I even looked up what's the largest one, or there was a question in there that asked that question. So I, you know, clicked on it and found out that it was called, NGC, some other number or something, the scientific technical jargon name for these things, these satellites and unknown objects out in space. So anyway, that's all I wanted to tell you, that you're going to be getting great characters, great story. I'm telling you, these characters are going to be great. You're going to love them. If you're tired, if you are tired of DC and Marvel giving you all of this woke crap, and you are looking for a new universe of superheroes to fall in love with, I've got 12 alone in here as the first, and I got a bunch of bad guys coming. There's over for just his um, rogues gallery of bad guys. You've got over 40, 50 characters in here. And then that's not nothing. And I said there's like 200 to 300 characters in here, and that's future stuff. I got another like 100 backup characters just that I could kill off. People who work for people, the grunts. So you're gonna be seeing death. You're gonna be seeing all kinds of, and then remember, so in opening pages, there's an explosion. There's a might. Nightshade, she handles everything, so she gets information over the subnet or the dark web or whatever you want to call it. whatever I'm gonna call it, you're gonna find out in the book. So it's gonna be one of those two, the subnet or the dark web. And so anyway, that these gang is, that's well known in the subnet, um, coming to Portsburg. They're big time muscle for hire, and so they knew they had to prepare. So that's why he brought in these three guys as his backup, his main dudes, because he has faith in them. He's going to work with them. So these guys are going to be in the first team that's going on, because there's two incidents that happen. There is um, an attack on the Diamond District, and an attack on the Tech District, my Silicon Valley. I don't call it the Tech District. I call it something else. I might have mentioned it. I don't know. But I'm not mentioning it now because I'm saving it for my launch, or for when I'm talking about it on stream with somebody's live stream. I'm going to be spilling everything. I'm going to be telling more stuff because there's so much story to tell. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about all of these three characters. I'm going to be talking about Mike. I'm going to be talking about his backup team, all of the dudes that I've been drawing. I'm going to be talking about some of the bad guys that's going to be that's going to be coming into the book. I mentioned an arms dealer. That's going to be the first dude. So you're going to be getting Mike, the graphic novel. You're going to be getting a supplementary book with the origin of Nightshade, the origin of Wreck, who was once a slave. Nightshade was once in the military. She got injured, Purple Heart, all of that stuff in the line of duty, and then became a cop, injured in an incident that happened a few years back, and wind up getting saved by Mike. And because of what happens, her origin story. So you're going to be getting that in the supplement, the origin of Wreck, and the first meeting between Mike and this arms dealer guy. And then because Mike is going to be the first issue of Mike is going to be a 68-page giant size first edition, first issue. And that's going to be part of the graphic novel. Then there's going to be 2 follow-up books, issue 2 and 3. So you're getting 3 issues in the graphic novel. The 68 giant size edition, and 220, at least 24 pages each. Or they might be 21, 22, and 26. But you're going to get at least another 48 pages. So you're going to have at least 116 pages of book in the graphic novel. That's what I want. And I've got plenty of story because, like I said, Mike was created back in the 60s when a meteorite crashes to Earth outside of Portsburg, and this viscous material starts seeping out like tar, starts seeping out, covering everything around the countryside, and starts mutating stuff. And police getting killed, military's getting killed, or absorbed by this substance, and superheroes are dying left and right, getting absorbed by this substance, and things are happening. And so the government had this experimental procedure that to offset the rise of next gen, new gen, I call N-gen, meaning neogenetics, the new age of genetics, or the next generation of man era. So it's either going to be neogenic. It's going to be both. It's going to be neogenic and next generational man, next generational man, next generational and neogenic. So I call N-gen. So anyway, to offset the rise of people with abilities coming into the world, which was really minor abilities. They didn't. Some of them displayed more powerful abilities, but most of them had less. And in the newer age of the atom, back in the 40s and 50s, they started developing this thing. So by the 60s, they had something in mothballs that they was saving, but it was like only like 70% testing, and they didn't really feel safe what would happen and whether they'd be able to control it. So anyway, by the 60s, when this thing happened, this procedure was brought out and said, yo, we need volunteers. Might and them was created. First group was created, and they was fighting, and for the most part was losing. So they said, "Yo, we need more help, and we can't just go in headlong because we're gonna just be throwing people to this fucking substance." So, with the help of the scientists, they managed to turn the tide and bring this thing in. But that's the origin of Mike, how he came into being, and the first wave was failing, so they created a second wave. Mike was in the second wave, and so they managed to get the substance, but they didn't trust the substance. They managed to kill the substance, whatever you want to call it, and they flew it into the world got together, created the space station, so that because they didn't want to ship it into the sun, they didn't know what would happen. Fire didn't work on it. So anyway, they put it on the space station and stored it. That's floating out in space, and all and in combination so that all nations could get access, their scientists could get access to the substance and work on it. They all have this space station out in space. So anyway, for years, since the 60s, they've been just testing and doing things with this thing. And so when this diamond thing and this tech thing went down, a third incident goes down in a lab, a secret lab, military, like part of the military industrial complex, gets hit too. And that's where the story starts. So the origin story of Mike is not going to be in the book. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk around it later on down the line when it becomes more pertinent. We're going to bring the origin of Mike with you. So you have that to look forward to. And then in the second campaign, I'm already that's when I'm going to do one of those Ethan Van Sciver joints. If y'all like what y'all see, y'all going to get one of those $200 boxes with stories, these guys' origin, or these guys' first issues. And they're not gonna be like the giant size 68-page joints. Or maybe I might. I don't know, depending on the story. Because this story with Mike is going to be outstandingly crazy. Like I'm saying, it's gonna have a lot of stuff happening. Mega end of the world and stuff, and then it's gonna be end of the galaxy, end of the solar system. No, first it's gonna be end of the solar system, then end of the galaxy, then end of the universe type of stuff. I already know this, so I have years of stuff. I already know where the story. I didn't flush it all out, but I had the overall ball. I got this orange in my hand. I just have to peel it and go inside and start pulling the seeds out and all of that stuff and then eating it. And so, yeah, that's all. But I know where the story is going to go, and I know that it's going to be big, and I have all of these smaller stories that I could put in between the epic ones. So I know this because of the characters. Developing the characters opens up stories. I got stories in between the 60s and the present time. Mike story that's not going to be told, that's going to be in future. There's going to be supplementary or giveaways in the campaign. So the origin story of Nightshade is one of those stories. a major incident happens where she gets injured, and that's where her origin comes from. So that major incident is another book to come to you, either in a supplementary or as a free give. No, that's going to be supplementary. The God's the God uh, God Tomb book is going to be the free, and then there might be another free book because, like I said, there's so many characters in here, and then might give you a free, depending on how well the campaign does, you'll get a free like short stories, 3 short stories in maybe 5 to 10 pages each about these 3 characters: Everman, Cameo, and and then I might give away something more, like just a pamphlet of all of the upcoming characters that might be coming, like Blackmail and his whole thing. You'll be able to see. I'm gonna have to design all of these characters. I'm gonna have to hire artists and writers to help me with all of this stuff because I won't be able to flush all this stuff out by myself. And so yeah, so you'll be getting, with each campaign, you'll be getting multiple stories from multiple, but all in the same universe. So when those major events happen and they all come together, you'll know these guys. So yeah, I already know it. I'm already planning all of that stuff. That's why it's hard. It's not just a book that's thrown together to be a small series. No, this is a universe that I'm going to introduce to you. The Might universe is coming your way. The Goddamn universe. God from Goddamn Comics. So yeah, that's why it's taking me a long time. I have to flush all of this stuff out just so that I can draw them guys, to know what they look like, to know their abilities. This third guy, I really do like him. I really do like him. I like him better than most of the characters that I'm gonna. And the dude, there's another character that's coming in the pages. He's gonna Turnbull. I showed him on online. I showed him on Robert Mazzullo, and Dave Finch was doing reviews. I think it's 2 reviews back. I think I was in there, and I showed Mega. I showed some of the other drawings from the Stone God story, and I showed Turnbull and his story, the Curse of the Minotaur. That's his origin story. And all of that stuff is going to be coming in the pages of Might. They're going to be in the first book, because there's another group of superheroes that's going to be in Duke's side. That's like Harlem. Portsburg is like Manhattan, and Duke's side is like Harlem. So that's the rate there is. Uptown is Duke's side, and downtown there is Portsburg, main city, like business region. So it has the same type of relation. So yeah, that's the way I'm thinking, and I'm just so excited to get this stuff to you. It's just that I didn't realize how much that I would need to do just to get the campaign started. I just can't talk about it. I have to be about it. I have to get my inking better. I have to do all of the coloring, and I've never done any of this stuff. So I've been watching a lot of videos. I've been watching it for years and years, watching how to learn how to paint with Photoshop, but I'm using Clip Studios now, so I have to relearn. I have to basically get in there and learn Clip Studios and all of that things. But the procedures I've already learned, how to use the light sources and all of that, and uh, um, even some of the apps of the program itself, like what do they call that when you have multiple layers and you kind of color on one layer, the multiply layer, and using those layers and masks and stuff like that. So I know those things. So basically I just have to do the coloring, because I I've been putting it in my brain, but haven't been putting it into practice. So that's where I am. That's why it's taking me so long. And I'm going to be bringing out really, really soon a campaign with color work, with inks and colors, and it's going to all be digital because, like I said, I'm basically starting it over again because of this. I don't have a scanner or a printer, so I have to do everything digitally to ensure that I'm getting 11 by 17. I can't send something that's off. Oh, well, this page was only 11 by was only 11, or not even, because then you have to put the images together and make sure they fit. So that the thing, so I don't even know if I'm getting 11 inches across. So all of that is the problem. Am I getting 11 by 17? And that's the issue. And then I have to redraw stuff. Even when I do get, part of it's going to be maybe some of it with all of the background, a lot of it's going to be off, so a lot of it's going to be redrawing and refitting things, and that's all. It seems like too much work. So that's why I said I'll bring things in bit pieces at a time, bring it in and do it all digitally, and that's my problems. But to finish off with, I'd like to say I'm going to be doing an unboxing. I can't flip this over. This is my second video because I flipped this over and was doxed myself, and I'm gonna have to clip out something because I basically showed the opening origin story of blackmail here, so I'm gonna have to clip that out. But anyway, I'm gonna have to do an unboxing and review. I've had this for like 2 to 3 weeks. I bought it like on a Tuesday, and then I got it. They said it was going to come the next Tuesday, and when I looked out my door to get the mail, well, usually I don't have to go out the door, so I just open the door, and it's inside the slot in between the metal door and the front door. And I happened to catch a glance of the package on the stoop out front, and I said, "Hey, it came Saturday." I was waiting for it to come on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, like eBay said, and it came early. But I didn't realize when I went to eBay, went to my email, it said that it came on Friday. So luckily, nobody saw it out there and grabbed it. You can see the Gemini mailer held up for, so that's going to be my first thing. It got banged up pretty good, but I can't flip it over to show you that the main part didn't get dinged to where something could be damaged on the inside. You can see there's a crease right here, along here, and a crease right here to where the Gemini mailer protecting the comic book inside. So that's going to be part of the first review. The post office did batter this a bit. This is the side. You can see it's kind of bent, flattened, where it's been flattened pretty good. You can see here, and then there's a third right here where it's been flattened pretty good. They didn't treat it with kindness at all. So the Gemini mailers are going to be the way I'm going to, because I see for myself how sturdy these things are, and they do the job. And so, yeah, Ethan, I will be doing a review soon, probably this weekend. Maybe tomorrow morning, Saturday, yeah, maybe tomorrow. I shouldn't have said Saturday, because if I don't post this today, if I post it tomorrow, then my Saturday one will be off. Because I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit this. So anyway, I'm going to do, this is the warehouse clearance. I didn't get down on any. I couldn't afford. I wish I could have gotten in on those boxes. I really did want the first issue, that special edition of Cyber Fraud Blood Honey, but I got the line work. I wanted the chromium. I don't think I got that. I don't know. But I know I got the line art and the unforgettable tales and stuff like that. So I'm going to check all of that out, because Ethan, I want to know whether you told, well, I'll do it during the review. I'll ask that question during the review. But I'm gonna do a unboxing soon. And yeah, so the Mightyverse, the Might universe is coming your way. And be on the lookout, fellas, because people, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do gender bending over here, so you guys are going to love these characters. You're going to see abilities that you might not have seen before. New stuff. I'm not guaranteeing because I don't know every superhero out there on the market, so I can't guarantee that I'm gonna. But for me, I've never seen characters like some of these. But for the most part, they're just gonna be characters. Don't expect too much. It's more the story, my art, my enthusiasm. I love these guys. Even Mike, the stuff that I put into him, yeah, I'm liking him now. Maybe not as much as Mega because I've known Mega since I was in my 20s. Man, not even then. I was in my early teens, my late teens. So since I was a teenager, I'm like my late 50s now. So that's 40 years I've known some of these characters. So yeah, get down on my storytelling. My Stone Guard story was supposed to end my assassin story. My twin assassin story was supposed to be novels. So I was learning how to write novels for a while. I got Writer's Digest and all of that type of stuff, and I was, doing everything to write because I didn't think I could draw all of that, and it would be so much work that it would maybe come out better as like a Lord of the Rings. So that's what I was thinking. Do a book first and then come out later. But if this works out, you're gonna be getting those stories because I'll hire somebody to draw and write those stories, or finish them off. I'll work with them, of course. We've been working side by side every inch of the way to get all of the real fine, minute minutia out the way. And but those were my first stories. These are my first superheroes, and you're gonna love them. So yeah, this is a monstrositous one signing out, baby. I'll be back again. I'll be making some more videos. I made a video of my cloth men like 2-3 weeks ago. It was a long video and I just didn't feel like editing it, and then I got sidetracked with my might, and so working on all of this stuff is yeah, because I gotta do other things. I gotta exercise and stay healthy just so that because sitting down for so many hours to draw and write is headaches. So I got other things I got to take care of, and each one interferes with the other. I'm supposed to finish these a year or two ago, but splitting my focus is splitting my focus. I'm an artist with a lot of ideas. Some of these cards is what I'm using. I'm using for reference. See, they got hoods that pop up, the doors open. Yeah, I'm going to be using these for reference. I found a bunch of them in the house. Some of them were mine from like 10 years, 20 years ago, and others were other family members that got left behind. So I just snatched them up, and I figured I could use them for reference. It's nothing like having something up close. I know it's not exact, but it's close enough that I can use to create comic books because I'm a freehand artist. So I'm not going to be all mechanical about it. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be getting back at y'all people. I haven't forgotten about y'all. I know that I got to get my channel up and get my oars in the water and start paddling my arms off, and that's what's coming next. I got to get that done. I got to get this done now. So I'll see y'all. Peace.